Hello and welcome to another video on the Watts family murders. I'm Michelle and I do hope you're well. If you saw my video yesterday on Summer Wells, you will know that my little puppy has chewed the screen on my MacBook. So I'm improvising for the next few days until the screen is fixed, and it means the movie on Chris Watts and the Mistress that I'm doing, that I call Endgame, that's going to be a little bit delayed because the files are on my computer, which is currently in the repair shop. So I'm using my son's old computer. The microphone isn't great, and for whatever reason it isn't accepting an external mic. So I hope the volume and the audio is okay. Okay, let's get into it. Now, first of all, I want to play you a short clip that was released by CBS this morning. So it's an early morning programme on the 19th of November 2018. And those of you who know about the Watts case will know that that was the day when Chris Watts was sentenced. After which we're going to talk about, was Nichol Kessinger actually there at the courtroom? What does Kim Kaufman say about this? Kim Kaufman alleges to have known the Watts family right from the early days of the confession, the first confession. And that is true. That is absolutely true. But does she really know whether Nichol was there? Is Kim giving us a pro-Chris argument, just as she's done all along?
Good morning. All along, the twists and turns in this case have been riveting, and later today, Christopher Watts will be sentenced for a killing spree that seems both senseless and sinister. Picture perfect. Two adorable little girls, the pride of parents Christopher and Shanann Watts, 15 weeks pregnant and expecting their first boy.
You want to give the baby a hug?
On Facebook, Shanann Watts gushed about her husband.
He was the one for me.
But investigators say Christopher Watts had a secret, an extramarital affair with a coworker. He now admits killing Shanann a month after it began, along with 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste.
You got my shirt in your mouth, kid.
We believe that we have a partial motive. I'm not sure if it's the entirety of the motive, but I'll be happy to comment on that following the sentencing hearing.
Watts's lover said last week he had misled her from day one, telling her his divorce was almost final. He's a liar, Nichol Kessinger told the Denver Post. He lied about everything.
I just want them back.
When his family first went missing, Watts claimed to have no idea where they were.
It's not something I could ever fathom would happen in my lifetime.
3 days later, he admitted to strangling Shanann, but only after he claimed he saw her in a baby monitor killing their daughters. Because she was distraught, he was leaving her.
Mr. Watts, why did you kill your wife and 2 children?
According to court documents, Watts has now confessed to all 3 murders after authorities searched an oil field where he worked and found the bodies of Shanann and their daughters.
That's the background of what the media was reporting. And I'm now going to go through just a few minutes of a live stream that was on Voices Behind the Walls channel, so that's Share, with Prairie Boy 77, Mr. Share, and Kim Kaufman was there as a guest. And she was asked a question as to her opinion about whether Nichol was there. Now, the context of this is that Cher and Mr. Cher and Kim from Unjustified, they've all been talking to the Watts family. I think that's good. It will be useful to hear more from the Watts. Really give some context to who the Watts family really are. I'm not ashamed to say that I've been quite negative towards the Watts family, particularly Cindy Watts, and I'm prepared to listen to what Cindy has got to say. I fully acknowledge that they are victims. They are victims in all of this. So there's that. That was the context, really, of the live stream, I guess. But once Kim came on, Kim, as you'll know if you've kind of followed the case on YouTube, Kim appeared November-ish of 2020. That was when Revelation in the Reckoning started. She spent, at this current time, nearly 3 years communicating with the Watts. That broke down a little bit earlier this year when Ronnie Watts and Lana and Jay for Justice went to Denver to get Chris lawyers for the 35C that he was supposedly filing. Kim Kaufman has always claimed that Shanann killed the girls. And in recent weeks, Kim has appeared on various live streams, and there's kind of a more human side to Kim that's come out, for the want of a better word. Now, some of the comments in that stream from the audience were that Kim is in support of Nichol Kessinger. And I fully believe she is. But again, let's listen to what she has to say about whether Nichol was in the courtroom.
She was not in the courtroom. She was being interviewed down. So you guys have seen the perp walk where Chris is walking in. And I don't know if many of you guys know this, that when he was walking in, that reporter yelled to him, "Chris, why'd you kill your whole family?"
Mr. Watts, why did you kill your wife and 2 children?
He had no idea why that person asked that. He had no idea that the media was saying that he had, admitted to killing his whole family or whatever.
Okay, let's break this down. So that's the clip from CBS this morning. I'm sure it's been played elsewhere, many other places. And it's just a second or two of a reporter confronting Chris when looks like he was going into the courtroom or going into the building. And she said, "Mr. Watts, why did you kill your family?" Why wouldn't Chris know that the media were aware he'd killed his entire family? He'd confessed. You see, this is the thing that is getting confused, in my humble opinion. Yes, the first confession that he gave on the 15th of August to his dad, Ronnie, was that Shanann killed the girls, and he killed Shanann because he saw her in the baby monitor. It's a nonsense story. It doesn't make sense why he would go and then put his girls, dead bodies, into oil tanks. It does not make sense that you would do that. Kim believes that, and a small number of other people have always believed that. But in the 90 or so days that he was in Weld County Jail, it has been reported that he fully confessed. Chris has said this himself. He fully confessed to his defence team that he was responsible for all of the murders. Now, Kim and others like to say, and we'll see this shortly, like to say that Chris's confessions to his defence team, the Wisconsin confession in February 2019, further confessions to Sherilyn Cadle are all not true. He's been, for whatever reason, he's been encouraged to say this. And I've got problems, I've got issues with the way the Wisconsin confession was handled. I did part 1 of a series going through the Wisconsin confession. I'm going through it in its entirety. I must resume that series. Once my computer comes back, I will resume that series because I want to get into all of those things. But what Kim was saying is that Nichol Kessinger was there in the building, but she wasn't in the courtroom itself.
So when he walks back out, that's where the media was stationed. That was right there, and then it was.
So you can see Chris now walking back out. So this is after the sentencing. Chris walks back out. Now, were the media outside there? Because apparently this is the area where Chris walked past Nichol being interviewed by who? Because if she was being interviewed by the press, where is that? Or was she being interviewed by someone else? Well, who is that someone else? But she smirked at Chris. Strange.
Down around, she was standing outside of the hall in off of an interview room as he was being escorted out.
So she was standing outside an interview room as he walked by. she has been in witness protection. Kim's words herself was that Nichol was in witness protection for 2 years, which would take that up to November 2020, which is mysteriously when Kim Kaufman appeared on YouTube. Surely is a coincidence, but it's around the time when Nichol Kessinger filed for a name change, a formal name change. Now, the speculation in this stream was that Nichol was out of witness protection and therefore she then was on her own and needed to change her name. Why didn't she change her name from the outset and live for 2 years with her new name? Surely she'd have been harder to track. If she'd been in witness protection with a new name, she would have had a new name. She would have had a new name as part of that witness protection. So this timeline doesn't really make sense. In my opinion, in my head, it doesn't make sense. So if she was there in the building, there's loads of questions. Why did she even bother going? Why was she stood outside an interview room? Is she there as some kind of witness? Did she think she was going to get called? Why? Because he's confessed to all. What was she doing there? Why was she there? Did she want to be there but wanted to be protected with, a victim's advocate and in a place where the reporters couldn't see her? Well, all right. Well, how come Chris saw her? How come no one else except Chris saw her? Surely if she was there in the building, they'd have made sure that she wasn't in a location where Chris was going to pass by. It doesn't make sense.
And he did think, because they had had a conversation that she was not going to talk to the media.
So Chris and her, presumably, had a conversation that she wasn't going to talk to the media, according to Kim. When did that conversation occur? Was that in one of the mysterious text conversations that we've never seen between Nichol and Chris on the 13th and the 14th of August? Was it one of the phone calls they made to each other during that time? Or was it later via the defence team? Like, was there communication between Chris and Nichol via the defence team? Well, no, because apparently, allegedly, I've heard, the defence team tried to contact Nichol, but she didn't want to talk to them. So when was this conversation? And how does Kim know all this? Well, Kim might know all this because the Watts have told her. Or maybe she's been directly involved with Nichol Kessinger, which is another speculation. How does Kim know all this is the question.
Obviously had known what had happened and basically said the media's already involved. I don't want you drug into this. So if someone reaches out to you, don't comment.
Let's play that again.
Because they had had a conversation that she was not going to talk to the media. Chris obviously had known what had happened and basically said the media's already involved. I don't want you drug into this. So
Chris said to Nichol, the media's already involved. I don't want you getting dragged into this. But she just said that Chris wasn't aware that the media knew about the full confession. Of course they would know about the full confession. It's in the court docket. It does not. What Kim is saying here, when you break it down sentence by sentence, doesn't make sense.
Someone reaches out to you, don't comment. And so when he found out that she had commented to the media, it really was like, wait, what? You talked to the police? You talked to, like, what is going on? And then
So she's now talking as if Chris was able to communicate with Nichol after she talked to the media. So that was the Denver Post article, because she's only made one interview. She's only done one interview, apparently in her lawyer's office. So when did Chris communicate this? When?
She was there. He was like, what is happening? Like it really threw him for a loop.
Well, it threw him for a loop that she was there. Well, it would do if he didn't expect to see her there. And apparently she smirked at him. He wrote in a letter that has come out recently, and I know some of you think that the letter's fake, but this is genuinely Chris's handwriting. It really is Chris's handwriting. And it was written by Chris to someone called Kim G., so a different person than Kim Kaufman, who he believed was his girlfriend. And he talks about the situation where Nichol was there and smirked at him and, as if to say, Gotcha. Now, is this narrative coming out from the what side and being now propagated by Kim on live streams? Is this now to set up this possibility that other people, including Nichol Kessinger, were involved? If that's the case, why are they doing it? Because it won't reduce Chris's sentence. It's got no bearing at all on Chris's sentence. So there we go. So the next very short clip I'm going to play you is what Kim said about the situation more generally.
He wouldn't lie to his dad. I mean, that was something so important when he was in Wisconsin. Because remember, he never told.
Kim is going with the line, as she's always done, at least she's consistent, that Chris would not lie to his dad. So, well, Kim, Chris wouldn't lie to his dad, but he'd lie to everyone else. He'd lie to the police. He'd lie to Shanann. He'd lie to Nichol Kessinger herself. He'd lie to everybody, but not his dad.
The judge or the DA anything else besides his original confession as far as the warrantless arrest affidavit. And he continued to tell his parents, stick behind what he said about the Wisconsin interview until they came up with when the detectives came up to Wisconsin. That's when that changed. He was asked what he told his parents or what he told the detectives, and he told his parents that. Now, at the time when that Wisconsin confession came out, he told me right away, debunk that.
So Chris told Kim straight after the Wisconsin confession to debunk it. So that was February 2019. And the information about what he said, about how he killed his family, was released to the media. But Chris told her to go out there and debunk it. Well, why did she wait until November 2020 to make a YouTube channel? She wasn't in the public eye until then. So it took her a long time to start to debunk it, which is another thing that doesn't make sense. None of what she says here, when you break it down, makes sense. So if I can't believe what she's saying about Chris's alleged lies, that she's got to now debunk, that all he said in the Wisconsin confession was lies, that she needs to go out there and debunk. If that's nonsense, then I'm inclined to think that her viewpoint about Nichol being there in the courtroom is also nonsense, or in the court building rather, is also nonsense. It just seems to be a new narrative that's being propagated by Chris himself via a letter, but also by the disciples who are now out there spreading the word to debunk what Chris has been saying since February 2019.
Prove that wrong, basically. They weren't leaving until he told them something. And you can see the information that he gives them. It progresses over the length of time that they're there.
It does, because they press him. Do they give him ideas? Probably. Does he go along with it? Probably, because that's what Chris is like. But does it mean it's all false? Because, if they are going for this 35C kind of, underground, and that they're spinning this narrative now that Shanann killed the girls, they're going back to that. Is that grounds for a 35C? So what's the end game here? What is the end game? And I'll leave you with that thought. Hope you're well. I've been Michelle, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, folks.